Hello, Javier. How are you? Nice to see you.
Hey Jordan, nice to see you again. We missed you last week.
Yes, you're my savior last week. That was great. And I watched it on my own. I was like watching YouTube just naturally, and I was like, this is pretty good. So yeah,
Oh, thank you.
cool. So I guess what we'll cover today is more or less usually what we always do, a little bit more unstructured this time. So we're gonna go over the blue chip prices. We're gonna go over the big movers. Gonna go over some on-chain metrics and some other stuff. I think last week you went through some data on whatever charting or whatever price tracker you use that I thought was really good. We'll go over some on-chain metrics. We'll go over some market structure stuff in terms of ETF flow and funding rates and stuff like that. And then we'll talk a little bit about DeFi and what's been happening in DeFi. Price of ETH has been going up, and also there's a big airdrop today. So yeah, it's very interesting. And yeah, so let's start with the prices. What's happening with BTC and ETH and all the other blue chip assets?
Yeah, well, it was I think 2 days ago when we see that green that green beautiful candle
Yeah.
on on ETH that it
Yep.
pushes from like 3.3 to 3.6, and everyone was like, oh yeah, where's our back? So yeah, that was a really nice day because the ETH BTC ratio was just going low. That was what I shared last week when that you were talking about the chart. So yeah, now it's looking a little bit better for us ETH addicts.
Yeah. So it looks like it was kind of the bottom. If you look at the ETH BTC chart, it wasn't quite at the lows, I think, but it was definitely getting there. So yeah, now we clearly made some nice progress versus BTC. Even versus Sol. So yeah, that's pretty great to see.
Yeah, this was the chart I shared, and I think it was around here last week. So
Yeah.
yeah, it made a little nice pump. I'm not your technical analyst, but it's kind of, but it's rebounded. So yeah, like I said last time, if it hits this red line again, I'm buying. I'm all in. Don't follow me.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. So and it also I guess looks like BTC is having trouble getting to 100K. Um, which is
Yeah, that's
interesting.
probably like
Cool.
a wall of sellers at 100K. We should see like
Yeah.
the market, but yeah. But when
Yeah.
it breaks, it's going to be awesome. Like
Yeah.
it's
It
going to
makes
be.
me feel like when it breaks 100K, it's really gonna be like fireworks. Um,
I think there's going to be literally fireworks and parties in the street.
yeah, definitely. Um,
So
cool.
moving a little bit on the market overview, well, the fear and greed index is still at 85, like it was last week. We're still all very greedy. And something that I wanted to highlight that it was like there's like a big difference from last week was the what they call the altcoin season index, which was around 30, 32 last week. It
Mm,
made a huge increase this week
mm,
after it pumped. Yeah, all our altcoins, all our DeFi coins had a
mm.
beautiful pump. So yeah, I
Wow,
hope
that's
your portfolio is looking green.
I would be very interested if you go back. I would be very interested to know like what coins are most correlated with the price of ETH going up. Like, if ETH goes up, are there coins that go up? Like, let's say, like you know,
Oh, we
w-
need to check the biggest movers, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Mm,
yeah. So that's like a good proxy. What have been the biggest movers over the last 7 days?
okay, so we have top crypto gainers and losers. Yeah, in the last 7 days.
Okay, so Sandbox. Nobody knows what Sandbox is.
It's the
Okay,
metaverse coin.
no way.
Yeah, I think so. And also Decentraland. So yeah,
Sandbox, Sandbox is the which one?
it's a metaverse coin.
Oh, Metaverse. I thought you said
Yeah.
MetaMask. I was like, what?
No.
Okay.
Metaverse.
Oh,
Yeah, and you can see also Decentraland, which is another metaverse. I remember playing poker in Decentraland back in like
yeah.
2022. Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so we know the bull market is really kick off when there's a MetaMask token. That's when we really know the bull market is fully and truly here is when there's a MetaMask token. All right, mark my words on that.
Yeah, that's going to be a top, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. So what else? You're right. Okay, so biggest movers. Okay, so virtuals. Nobody knows what that is. Sandbox. Very few people know what that is. Stellar. That's interesting. Why would that? Lido. That's interesting. Lido is very interesting. I guess I can
It
see
ripped
the
at
why that would be highly.
41%.
Yeah, I can see why that would be highly correlated with ETH going up a lot.
Yeah, and of course some other ones like Phantom, yeah,
Hmm.
Immutable X and other blockchains, Celestia. Yeah, it looks like everything is doing really good because if you see the top losers are only losing like 7%, so people aren't even taking profit.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
Sol after almost reaching 80H, it's like 4.7 losers. So yeah, in the last 7 days. So
I mean, it really does feel like a bit of a toppy kind of feeling, but
yeah, it's that moment when you just close your eyes and hit the buy button, and you know it's going to get green. So yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So we usually move on now to the MRB score. Let me
Yeah,
share it
I'm very
with
very
you.
curious to see that right now.
Yeah, this one's one of your favorites.
Yeah. Okay. So we're closing in on 4. It looks like. Which again is like kind of not overheated by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also not like it's not value. Let's say. What is value is very subjective to a degree. Not super subjective, but we're not in a value buying zone for sure. Um, so yeah, that's this to me is like. I mean, we were on here a couple. We were saying like around number 2 or 3. Remember, this was like 2.
Yeah,
We were saying like, yeah, 2 is like a good place to buy, right?
yeah. And it
And
was just 1 month ago in
just 1 month.
September. Yeah,
Exactly.
October.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's interesting. So I think it's I think it's probably a little overheated. Definitely, from in my opinion, not a place to be a net seller or anything. I mean, this is not financial advice, but just interpreting the data here. And yeah, so it's interesting. I think this is like a pretty interesting no man's land zone. It's like it could rip a lot higher. It could rip. We've seen in crypto and DeFi, we've seen 30% pullbacks. Like that. So I this is just kind of a nice place
wait,
to be watching. Yeah,
wait
waiting.
and see zone. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, definitely. So moving on to the funding rates. This one's changing colors a lot.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of indicative of right. Like this was at one point all green, all sort of purplish, and now you can see that people are getting a little bit overzealous, a little bit ahead of their skis, and on the majors and even more so on the sort of lower market cap stuff. So yeah, it feels frothy. Definitely feels frothy.
Yeah, if you go back to the DeFi Weekly like 2 or 3, it was like all green. You
Yeah.
could see like a little orange spot like around BTC or around ETH, but yeah, now we're getting a lot of yellows and reds. So yeah, definitely hitting a little bit more.
Yeah, totally. Which is good for Athena. So if you're a SUSD holder, then it's good for you.
Yeah, there were a lot of Athena news this week, so yeah, it's been doing really good.
Okay, so
ETFs.
this is BTC ETS. So if we go down a little bit, there's a nice chart on the bottom left that shows sort of aggregate flows from day one. A little bit more. I think that's the one right there. Yeah, right there. Sorry, down a little bit. Yeah, denominated in dollars. So yeah, I mean, we can see again, like it just the bid is coming back. Basically, it looks like that was we saw it be crazy right in early 2024 when it was sort of approved. That was sort of surreal for me. The fact that people were bidding BTC from their like brokerage accounts, it was like crazy, in a way. But like yeah, so now we see that bid sort of coming back persistently, which I think is great, quite bullish. So
Yeah, well, what you're saying for me, it's also a signal that it's not so easy to onboard crypto. Like we're always looking for that next billion users, but you can see that in the first couple of weeks, like you said, people were just buying from their broker's account. So yeah, it's not that easy to just go and buy Bitcoin from your wallet or whatever, you know. So yeah, it's for people it's easier. They're still used to the fintech or Web2 ways to do it.
yeah, totally. Yeah, so this is great. This is bullish. What about ETH? If you scroll up, I think the same person has ETH ones linked there.
And this is Bitcoin. Wait.
Right there, to the right. Yeah. And same structure. If you go down, there's the total flows. I think right there. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so not as compelling as BTC, but does look like it's coming around a little bit. Versus BTC, and especially versus the sort of lull that we had throughout the summer.
Yeah.
I think something that's interesting that's worth people maybe checking out is the founder or CEO or both, I guess, of Athena has been posting some pretty interesting so it's obviously great to see the outcome, but I think he's been posting some stuff about like the sort of the underlying reasoning, like why flows might increase or why flows might decrease, and yeah, that's yeah, that's been interesting. So
yeah, we'll look for it and leave it on the description. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Cool.
at least it's net positive. See, like first we have a lot of net negatives, and now there's no negative. So yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Just inflows. Yeah.
Definitely. Cool. So what's next? I think what do we usually do next?
The
Oh
fun
right.
part.
Oh right. Okay. So
DeFi.
that's a nice layup into this. So perfect. What are the DeFi rates kind of doing? I'm surprised that they're still not they don't have SUSDS up here yet, but in any case, SUSDS yield is 8.5%, which is great. And we've got SUSDE yield, the winner at the moment, because people are levered.
Yeah.
They want to get long, and obviously, um, SUSDE gives you sort of a delta neutral like exposure to that, basically the appetite for leverage, basically.
Yeah, that's a really nice way to say you got that exposure to leverage without, and you're staying in your stablecoin, right? So
Yeah. You get to benefit from other people's exuberance, basically.
yeah.
So,
And I think they were voting on Sky now to raise not the DSR, the SSR, another point. So I think it's going to go to 9.5% probably in a couple of weeks.
wow. Okay. So that's important to know for people's borrow positions. Which, yeah, I mean, people are getting exuberant and borrow rates are going up, definitely. So it's something to be
Yes.
cognizant of if you have a borrow position, which is super easy to see on Summer. So if you go to Summer DeFi, I think it's the best way to actually look at it. Borrow rates, basically, is if you go to Summer, maybe you can just type in the URL. Maybe, yeah, great. And you go to
Yeah.
borrow, and if you just simply, so for example, I think selecting all ETH on collateral, and then selecting all stablecoins on debt, and just depends on I think 500,000 in liquidity is like a good baseline.
Yeah.
And then just sorting by borrow rate, and you can kind of get a good pressure sense of like what the best borrow rates are. So these are obviously the ones
The
that are
worst.
these you can just completely disregard.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of the best ones, these are the markets that so you're paying around 5.5% today.
Yeah, and the top four are on base, so that's a good data.
Yeah. And what about ETH, out of curiosity, from my
On ETH, on
yeah.
mainnet?
Yep. So okay. And then Spark 8.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But you're getting reward, so maybe you can start farming your SPK on Spark.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah.
Okay. So
moving on, what we were talking about? Oh, we're talking about
yields. Yeah, I mean those are really the kind of yields across the board. Yields are going to go up with borrow rates going up and demand for leverage going, or demand for multiply exposure going up.
yes.
So Aave, Morpho, all these markets are going to be pretty good for you if you're in stables or have anything in stables. I think it's good, given what we were talking about, like the fact that things are feeling a little bit frothy and stuff. So
yeah, actually, well, I was just checking Aave, and you're getting paid 25% to supply USDC. So
wow.
if you like your stablecoin, this is the time to move them.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
just remember these are dynamic rates. So now it's 25. In a couple of hours could be 15, but yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you need something to like keep automated for you.
Something that rebalances automatically.
Yeah.
I wish what that could be.
Yeah,
We'll probably have some more news later on.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess we can't. We got to talk about briefly the hype airdrop that happened today. Maybe it's worth going to CoinGecko briefly and just looking at the token.
Yes. Let me. It's called.
Oh, it's right there. Yep. So yeah, so this is
Guess the
airdrop
name.
today. Yeah.
Guess the name.
Hype. Hype token, right?
It's hype token. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
This has been airdropped today, and yeah, I mean, all Twitter is talking about it. I didn't get an allocation, so I'm not. I'm not the happiest people at the moment right now, but yeah, I've seen some really nice airdrops.
Yeah, apparently it was great. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's awesome. It's great to see.
Yeah, I don't think it was so advertised, right? You couldn't see it anywhere. I mean, before it happened, like only just a few days ago, I started seeing on Twitter some information, but it's not like this super announced airdrop for like months and months. Yeah. So unless you were in that, let's say, niche, you didn't know, which is really good for those who are farming because they probably got a lot of points or tokens and now money. Yeah.
Yeah, I know somebody who got a pretty nice airdrop, and I feel good for him. It's really like a trader's traders platform, I guess you could say. And like even the UI, if you go to it quickly, if you want, if not, that's fine too. But it's really like a trader's kind of UI and interface. That's kind of what turned me off of it personally. But you know, trading is generally not a profitable thing to do. So it's great that they got a great airdrop and stuff. So yeah, I think that's awesome.
I was just going through it. Can you see? Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's built for trading, basically.
Yeah.
Start trading. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can.
I guess. Yeah, it's like a
yeah.
Yeah, like I'm.
If you're a long-term investor, yeah.
Yeah, it's not for me. So I mean,
all these charts and candles, they're not for us.
Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what
So
do
coming
we
to.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, coming to an end, we'll always have like a gift and an ask, and we think that this is a really nice gift for everyone to read. This is the Block Analytica report. This is for last month, but it has a lot of really good information about not only DeFi, but you can see there are stats about the US market, the consumer price index. It's like a whole view of the economics plus crypto. It's not just crypto. No.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's great. It's like really worth, I was part of the maker community a long time ago, and those early days they used to have these like what were they called? They were called like the peg stability calls or something like that. State of the peg. That's what they're called, man. And I think they might be on YouTube. If so, you should look them up. Like if you have time. And they were the governance calls from back in the day. Those are definitely on YouTube. You should look them up. And they were like a MBA class or like a economics class at like a top university, open to anybody really. And you got to see what the discussions were just of such incredibly high quality. And when I saw this, it really reminded me of that. Like this is open to anybody to look on, and if you're in DeFi, you obviously know about these things, and seeing them in the context of broader markets and stuff, which crypto is obviously a part of and correlated with, is really great. So yeah, definitely worth checking out and reading to sort of level up in how you think about these markets and stuff. So yep.
Yes.
Shout out to
we'll
Max.
leave the and we'll leave the link in the description.
Yep. Cool.
So yeah, I think that's it for DeFi Weekly number 8.
Yes.
2 months in a row.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Yeah. Okay, so guys, if you like the video, just like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Sheldon. Bye-bye.